Welcome to CBC Weekly Talk. I'm Anastasia Lavrina. Ecological activists and members of non-governmental organizations from Azerbaijan staged peaceful protests in the country's Karabakh region on Monday to demand the prevention of illegal exploitation and export of the country's natural resources, where the Russian peacekeepers are temporarily dislocated. The protests came in response to the illegal intervention of ethnic Armenians, which prevented ecological monitoring in the region. About the latest situation on the Shusha-Khankendi road and why do Azerbaijan's action comply with all norms of international law. My guest now in the studio, Ulviya Zulfikar, spokesperson for the Western Azerbaijan community. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, and two guests join us distantly. It's Maxim Gauin, historian, research fellow at the Institute for Development and Diplomacy of Ada University, and Rabbi Mikhail Finkel, international expert, doctor in law, and political scientist. Dear experts, hello and welcome to our program.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Excellent. So my first question to you, Mr. Finkel, if other guests don't mind. So the group of ecologists from Azerbaijan was not allowed to start the monitoring process to investigate and monitor the illegal exploitation of minerals in the Azerbaijani territories. Armenians living in the parts of Karabakh region temporarily overseen by the peacekeepers do not allow the Azerbaijani ecologists to come to these lands and to investigate this situation. From a legal point of view, tell us what's going on and if Azerbaijani's position is comply with the norms of the international law.
Well, we have to face the fact, according to the norms of international law, this land belongs to Azerbaijan de jure. This is your land, land of your country, and there's no dispute about this. The only thing which is yet disputed is when to fully return back under Azerbaijani control this land. So Russians are staying there for a certain time, they control, they monitor, but it does not mean that any party, that Armenians have the right to take the natural resources and to appropriate them and to misuse them and to take them without your permission, without the permission of the Azerbaijani government. So obviously, when we take a look at this, when they're concealing this, when they are not allowing your experts to take a look at what's going on, it means a very simple thing, that there's something what to conceal, that there's something illegal going on over there, that they're taking what's not theirs and essentially stealing it from Azerbaijan, stealing it from your country and from your people. Of course, what your experts are doing is legal and is just. They're just demanding access. They're just demanding a right to oversee what's going on. If there's nothing to conceal, if nothing illegal is taking place, so why don't you let them go there and see? So obviously something wrong's happening. Obviously something is being covered up. And for sure, without any doubt in my mind, they will continue to take whatever they can till the last moment, as long as they're there. And they've always done it.
Well, Maxim, what do you think, taking into account the fact that Karabakh is an internationally recognized territory of Azerbaijan, it's quite logical that Azerbaijani ecologists, experts and any other citizens of Azerbaijan should be free to visit any territory of Azerbaijan they wish, right?
Obviously. And I would like to add one thing to what has been said. There are the famous 4 resolutions of the UN Security Council was in 1993. But I would like to insist on the decision of the European Court of Human Rights Grand Chamber, which called Armenia an occupying power with all the responsibilities of an occupying power. Of course, it was before the liberation. But now the reality has changed, but the legal situation is the same. This is part of Azerbaijan, and as a result, yes, of course, an Azerbaijani citizen should be free to enter any Azerbaijani cities he wants. As simple as that. And these people are unarmed. These people want to check what is going on in the property of Azerbaijan. There is nothing but legitimate in such actions.
Maxim, you referred to the United Nations Security Council resolutions from 1993. Let me add one additional question to you. On July 28, 2022, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution entitled "The Right to Live in a Clean, Healthy and Sustainable Environment." With this resolution, the UN recognized the right to live in a clean, healthy and sustainable environment as a human right. But in this particular situation, we see that Azerbaijanis do not have this right to live in a sustainable and clean environment because illegal exploitation of the natural resources of Azerbaijan in Karabakh by ethnic Armenians and different companies and organizations there, it violates the rights of Azerbaijanis to live in a safe and ecologically natural environment, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you remind me the testimony of former Israeli Minister Ayub Kara, who said, "I never saw such a devastated land except in Lebanon, but even in Lebanon, you could find fish in the rivers. In the liberated territories of Karabakh, you cannot even find these animals in the rivers because of the pollution." So continuing the pollution is a violation of human rights, and it is a clear will to prevent Azerbaijani to have a normal life on the liberated territories, in addition to maintain illegal control on Hankendi, but even outside Hankendi, such pollutions is violating the rights of the Azerbaijani who are going back.
The main requirements of Azerbaijani eco-activists and representatives of different non-governmental organizations, especially state institutions, should have the opportunity to study, to investigate the situation in Karabakh, which is internationally recognized territory of Azerbaijan. But in this particular situation, we see the reaction of the international community, who always refer to the trilateral statement from November 2020. But it seems that they forget about the two key points from that statement. One is immediate and unconditional withdrawal of the Armenian armed forces illegally located there in a parallel way while Russian peacekeepers are coming to the region. So this is one of the key elements. And the second paragraph from that, the same statement, saying that Azerbaijani internally displaced person has a right to return back to its formerly native lands. They forget about two of these points, but they refer to the point that the road should be opened. But it's not closed even by Azerbaijani activists. What can you tell us about
Yes, I'm not surprised because we always face that double standards by international community, by some part of international community. Yes, you're right, in trilateral statement there are plenty of such things, but they prefer to keep mum about this. And they wrote, as Azerbaijani activists, ecological activists also show the videos on the social media from that place, and they say that no, we are not blocking the road. This is Russian peacekeepers, they block the road. But you know that it's of course absurd not to let Azerbaijani ecologists to the territory of Azerbaijan on such the mission. Ecological mission. This is not about anything. There is nothing about military. There is nothing about to fight. This is ecological mission. So I could say to you that this ecological terror is done in our territory during the occupation period by base metals, which is an Armenian company, and this Armenian company is into the Valex group, which is created by Valery Majlumyan. And this Valex group is situated in Armenia, okay, but base metals in 2002 was created in Karabakh. And this base metals with other Armenian lobbyists from all over the world, from the representatives of Armenian diaspora, they really did their mass ecological terror there. This base metal is still there. And unfortunately, Denmark, Russia, and the other Australian, Armenian diaspora representatives, they used to work there.
So that means that international companies are also having access to the Azerbaijani land from the side of Armenia.
Yes, they had, but I cannot say that this is Denmark people did this, Russian people. No, this was Armenian diaspora representatives. But we really have to stop. We really have to say no to this, and the international community should face the realities.
Mikhail, how do you think the international community should react on that, and what is the punishment for Armenia for these illegal activities in the formerly occupied territories of Azerbaijan should be?
Well, I don't think I ever suffered from being naive. I don't advise you to be naive as well. So point number one, nothing will be done by international community. First of all, the role of their diaspora. Second of all, there's a positive bias of the Christian world towards a fellow Christian country. Third of all, there is a negative bias against predominantly Muslim country, although you're a secular country. Fourth, the Armenians are playing a very good role, good for themselves, in portraying themselves as victims, and you have to make up with that. But let's face it, international community is not likely to do anything. Let's face one more unfortunate fact. I don't think that you will be able to do anything till Russian forces of peacekeepers will leave, because there's no way you can do something if their access to this place is blocked. You cannot do anything. You can speak with Russians, you can try to persuade them at Kremlin, which is also unlikely, because Russia sympathizes Armenia more, although it's very friendly with Azerbaijan. The sympathy of many Russian politicians, people who are deciding, are with Armenia. We have to face it. So I don't think anything could be done. The land will be, misused. They will steal and appropriate and take whatever they can. And the only thing you can do is, after the years will pass, after you will hopefully return back this land, you will be able to act legally by suing Armenia as a state to compensate you. And I have no doubt that in this lawsuit, you will win.
So in your understanding, there is only one way to change the situation. It's to get the lands, the control, and then after to take the monitoring missions and all of the requirements. But it means the war, a new war for this?
No. I think and I hope that with peaceful mechanism and with diplomatic mechanism, these lands will return eventually back to Azerbaijan. I don't advocate for war. But only when you will have access to these lands and you'll monitor them and you'll see what happened, you will be able to request the compensation in the courts. At the moment, you can only speak about this, but there's nothing you can do about this. Nothing.
Well, Maxim, what can you tell us about this? Because there were unofficial statements on behalf of France, United States, the European Union in connection with Shusha-Lachin road. They are saying that Azerbaijan should follow the trilateral statement. How you can comment on the position of French government and other countries, institutions who try to speak in favor of Armenia rather than in favor of truth?
I would like to emphasize first that the US official communique criticized Azerbaijan directly, while the French communique refrains from criticizing Azerbaijan directly. Both are inaccurate, both should have been rewritten completely, but the American version is much harsher than the French version, first to emphasize. It is a combination of prejudice and lobbying action by Armenian extremists. And I would like to emphasize in this regard that Armenian nationalism has a much stronger basis in the US than in France. In the US, they have a militant basis. In the US, they have people, they are well organized. In France, they are deeply divided, they are fighting each other. They have maybe 3,000 persons who can be called full member of the Armenian community. All the others are on the way to be assimilated. But there is no reaction, efficient reaction on the Turkic side, I have to say. But the fact remains that such communiques do not reflect the truth. The fact remains that the wrong side is the Armenian side, definitely.
Well, Maxim,
as I said,
even if
every
they
Azerbaijani citizen should have the right to check what is going on in an Azerbaijani city.
Maxim, even if they don't want to react on this peaceful action of the eco-activists, they should understand that Lachen Road for many years had been used for military purposes and transport of anti-personnel mines, any kind of techniques to Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. And if there is a specific control over that, we can avoid any military provocation in near future.
Absolutely. And it continued after the ceasefire agreement, after the end of the occupation of most of the previously occupied territories. Why? Who allowed these people to pass landmines?
That's a big question to the international community who has to answer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a bitter paradox that when the Kremlin violates international law in Ukraine, there is an appropriate reaction. Even if we could reach for more weapons for Ukrainians, there is a strong reaction. But when the Kremlin gives the orders to the Russian peacekeepers, but I will stop being implicit, I will call them by their name. When the Kremlin gives the orders to the Russian peacekeepers to allow these illegal fighters to plant landmines, we don't see the appropriate reaction. I'm very sorry of that, but this is the reality.
Yes, the mining is quite a big problem we observe on the liberated lands of Azerbaijan. So, Ulvia, today I guess it's very important also to mention that Armenia's refusal to provide comprehensive and accurate maps of hundreds of thousands of mines land in Azerbaijan during the period of occupation and even later resulted to what we observed this week. On December 14, 8 people hit a mine in Churak village of Kalbajar region. 4 employees of the company engaged in repair and construction work were hit by anti-personnel mine. 4 soldiers who went to the scene of the evacuation were hit by mine too, and we have 1 person who unfortunately died. We see that the problem with mines still exists. And it's obvious that Lachen Road had been used, as we already mentioned, for many years to bring these mines from Armenia to Azerbaijani lands and then to put it there. So this is, I guess, very urgent issues for the international community and for those who are currently living, ethnic Armenians in Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, to understand that if they want to have the peaceful coexistence in the future, they have to react on this particular issue as well.
Yeah, yes. And you know that while during the Karabakh War, the Second Karabakh War, Azerbaijan, as a human action, they said that okay, leave Kalbajar for 10 days, but instead they used it for the mining, the region. That's why this mining process, I'm afraid that is still continuing, because the Armenia refused to give the mine maps. Why? Why? Because they are still continuing this. And the Armenian population, they should not follow this kind of people. They should not follow this kind of policy because this has no future. They all also know that the future is going through the living together with Azerbaijani people in Azerbaijan. They are Azerbaijani citizens. And I can say that as I'm the spokesperson of the Western Azerbaijani community, we are a big community with hundreds of thousands people, West Azerbaijanis. I'd like just to refer to the history because during the last century, 4 times West Azerbaijanis were deported from Armenia, our historical lands, and which is now in Armenia, and during the Soviet era also. This was in 1905, 1918 to 20, 1948, 53, and the last one, 1988 to 91. And just the last one, 250,000 of Azerbaijanis were deported. We are registering.
I would say brutally deported.
Brutally
because there were some
deported.
Yes.
Yes. Not only deported. At the beginning of the century, during the 3 deportations, they were killed, massacred. Yes. My grandfather, his family was massacred in 1918, and he and his brothers were deported. That's why I'm the evidence. And
So it was like
Yes.
an ethnic cleansing policy committed by Armenian government in that period of time. That's why now Armenian government is mono-ethnic. There is
Yes.
no other ethnicity rather than Armenians.
Yes, yes. That cannot be mono-ethnic? While they have deported all other nations, and the Azerbaijani, which was a major community there, and they, considering that there were 4 deportations, the number is growing. That's why we, West Azerbaijanis, we understand that there is no way to say no, we will not do this. We know that this is a territory of Armenia now. We have no territorial claims. We just want to go back to the lands, our native lands, and coexist there peacefully.
Well, this is another question I would also like to address to you.
Yes.
You know, Azerbaijanis offer Armenians in the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan to live together peacefully, to think about the future coexistence. But speaking about this ethnic cleansing committed by the Armenia towards ethnic Azerbaijanis who used to live in those lands before, have you ever received any message from the Armenian government, from the citizens, about your future coexistence in Armenia? So ethnic Azerbaijanis who were deported from Armenia illegally, for example, the mass deportation in the 1918s, 1991, as you mentioned, those people can get the right to go back on their native lands and to live together with Armenian society. Have you ever received such kind of offer, statements, or anything?
We accepted not just offer, we accepted decline. Because they accepted some draft in their parliament. It said that as if there was no Azerbaijanis. This draft just prevented Azerbaijanis who were deported in 1988 to come back to their native lands. They were blocking it all the time. But I hope that they will realize that these deportations happened, this massacre happened. There is no denial. Because there are plenty of facts. We have passports, Armenian passport, the people who were deported
in
1988.
Soviet
yes, Soviet passport, showing that these people were born in Armenia. They graduated from Yerevan University, for example. They went to Armenian schools. There are plenty of their documents. That's why there is no denial.
As for today, how many people we are talking about? Millions or?
Yes, no, thousands. We're speaking about, for example, in 1988, there is approximately a number that 250,000. But it is growing because we are registering people. The community is registering people who maybe wasn't found out. That's why.
And the family members, I guess.
Yeah, family members.
The young
the
generation.
heirs, yes, yes, as me, for
Exactly.
example. Yeah, the heirs. The number will be growing.
Mikhail, again, coming back to the international point of view, how we can characterize this situation? I mean, these people who became refugees, who were expelled from the Armenia in the time when Soviet Union collapsed, and even far before that date, how these people can get the international status confirming their right to return back to Armenia, their native lands?
Well, I think it's very important not to wait for international community to be just. It has never been just, never will be. It's biased. They are biased. But I would advise Azerbaijan government to hire the best lawyers, which are located, for example, in New York or in London or in Geneva, and to file lawsuits. This is extremely important, to file lawsuits and to obtain for these people the status of people who were illegally expelled because ethnic cleansing took place here. This is a pure prima facie case of ethnic cleansing, of massacres and of forced expulsions of people, of their own citizens. And I would not advise Azerbaijanis to return back to Armenia, even if there would be no such legislation against it over there, because it would be dangerous. But I would advise your government to sue and to demand for huge reparations, because the damage that was done must be paid for.
This is another question, by the way, exactly. Armenians changed about 2,000 toponyms. They destroyed many cultural and religious sites, even not only on the previously occupied lands of Azerbaijan, but inside on the Armenian territory. And today they forget about that. They don't want to speak about that. They call for UNESCO to come, and we know the attitude of UNESCO. We spoke with you many times about this particular issue. So how do you think this process may go on? So how we can make the Armenian government to be responsible for all of those destruction committed on the formerly occupied Azerbaijani lands and on Armenian territories currently?
Well, it's very simple. You have to use Jewish and Israeli experience. This is how we dealt with Germany. This is how we dealt with other countries that were guilty in various crimes against our people during the Holocaust or at other times. Get legal sharks. Get those lawyers who will not let them go. These lawyers are expensive, but they're experienced, and you'll get success, and you will win in many courts, and there will be no way out. They will have to pay. And if they will not pay, and if they will not comply, you will have legal international mechanisms that will punish them for this. And injustice will be paid for.
But you know, even in Europe, for example, just recently, one of the political scientists in Poland started to speak about importance to get an additional reparation from the German government today, after almost 7 decades after the end of the Second World War. And we see that in Europe, this situation is still going. How it's...
The crimes against humanity don't have a limit in time. This is very important. And the jurisdiction here is universal. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Germany now said no because the time is not right. There are various problems, economic problems with Russia, with gas, with war in Ukraine. The time wasn't right. The Poles didn't choose the right time. But if they would have filed 10 years ago, they would have won and Germany would have paid. And I'm sure Germany would pay later on when the situation will become better. So it's also very important to find the right time, when to file the lawsuit and when to start the action.
Maxim, do you think that Azerbaijanis who used to live in Armenia before and ethnic Armenians who today live in Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, all of these processes, do you think that two peoples can coexist peacefully in the future, and those Azerbaijanis who can get the right to go back to Armenia will be able to coexist with Armenians who are currently living there, with the population?
The less complicated case is the one of ethnic Armenians in Khankendi, because I agree with what has been said a few minutes ago. It will be dangerous for ethnic Azerbaijanis to go back to Armenia. Maybe after 50 or 60 years the mentality will change, I wish, but for the moment we have no guarantee. For ethnic Armenians of Khankendi, obviously the situation is different. But the only condition that the Azerbaijani state is more than entitled to present such a condition is loyalty. No military, paramilitary force, no illegal possession of weapons, no insurrectional activities, obviously. For the moment, the situation is not very satisfactory in this regard, to say the very least. It will depend to a large extent on the capacity of the ethnic Armenians to change their representatives, because the current representative of the Armenians of Khankendi are not interested in peace, interested intellectually and interested financially. Because just one sentence, this is a long-term trend in the Armenian nationalism to articulate fanaticism and material interest. These people are fanatics ideologically, but also because they have a material interest in being fanatic.
Maxim, I guess it's also about the people.
Current leadership will prevent peace as much as they could. If the leadership change, yes, we can hope, we can discuss, we can, in the case of Azerbaijani state, we can implement measures for coexistence. But with such a leadership, we have nothing good to expect. unfortunately.
Maxim, maybe about the ethnic Armenians who are living in Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, maybe some of them would like to change the situation, but there are some provocations going on. Like, for example, this person, Ruben Vardanyan, who is behaving quite disruptively, I will say. He provokes the situation. He leads some terrorist activities on the territories of Azerbaijan, where the country temporarily Russian peacekeepers are located. So maybe there should be a specific approach to this. Can you imagine the situation in any European country, for example, that someone who had quite dark past, I will say, appear and saying that I will speak on behalf of ethnic Armenians in Azerbaijan? It's inappropriate. I don't think it can be accepted in any European country, in the United States or anywhere else. This is something to be dealt with.
Of course, I mean, he's part of the oligarchy. He's part of these billionaires who have stolen billions of dollars to the Russian people. As simple as that. So, by no standard, anybody can trust such a person. By no standard. And we look at his behavior. This is something that could be expected when he was appointed. Of course.
He's himself under sanctions, I think. Remember, Daniel's
Yeah.
under sanctions.
It is considered. Is considered to be sanctioned. I hope it will happen soon. So the question is complicated because I don't say all hand-candy Armenians are like this, still less after the heavy defeat of 2020. The thing is how such people can impose their will, because these people don't have the strength, these people don't have the military strength.
Maybe in this particular situation, Azerbaijan can help these people even.
The so-called Artsakh Nagorno-Karabakh government, they have weapons. The reasonable Armenians of Frankadi have no weapons. I am not wishing for a civil war between them. That's not what I mean. I mean the extremist element have the capacity, the material capacity to impose their will to the others. That's the nexus of the problem.
You know, just a short remark. You know, these people in the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, ethnic Armenians, we know that they are under the control of some people who are trying to speak on behalf of them. Maybe when Azerbaijan is saying that we are ready to provide our necessary humanitarian assistance, energy, gas, and everything else, what we are doing and what we are ready to provide for them, what is also important to put a specific control over the Latin road, to make sure that no any military techniques, no any, I don't know, terrorist organizations or someone else are coming to Karabakh region of Azerbaijan illegally and provoke these people to stand against the Azerbaijani government.
Yes, that will be in favor of their Karabakh, the people who are in Karabakh now, Armenian. Armenians, yes, ethnic Armenians, because I'm sure that they are also fed up with the situation. That's why that will be in favor of them, yes. No mines, no terroristic weapons, no anything. They deserve, I believe that they deserve living as a human, yes, as a citizen.
Yeah, we speak much about the international community today, and I would like to ask about your particular organization. How do you work with the international community, with the members of organization, to make sure that the world knows about you, about your existence, about your activity, and about your wish to return back to your native lands?
Yes, our community that was created on the basis of the Azerbaijani refugees community, which it happened this year on August 3. So we are still new. We are building our relations with the international community. We had a statement which we sent to the UNESCO, UNHCR, United Nations, other organizations on the 5th of December, on the deportation day, which we accepted as a deportation day of the Azerbaijanis. We say that yes, we have many monuments. We have very historical and cultural monuments which is destroyed. We have too many people who were deported and killed also. You know that the historical monuments, they are not even destroyed. They say that it belongs as if to a third country. For example, Blue Mosque in Yerevan, they say that it belongs to Iran. No, it belongs to Azerbaijan. It's Azerbaijani heritage. Yes, and
but Azerbaijan has all of these documents proving that this is historical sites of Azerbaijan.
Yes, we have plenty of documents showing to the international community that we live there. These are our historical and cultural monuments, and the toponyms. The Armenian government changed it not once, several times. to dissolve that, the first one, the first one was Azerbaijani toponym, but even there are some that even they changed the name of these toponyms. These are appear to be the historical Turkish and Azerbaijani name. For example, Zangezur, they say Sunik, that means Sunik, the place where Turkish tribes used to live. So that's why, yes, we work with the international community. Our first mission is to bring the UNESCO, which is not so willing to come to Azerbaijan.
Yes, they're more willing to come to Armenia,
yes,
but when they go there, they forget about Azerbaijanis cultural and religious sites, historic one, which were destroyed by Armenian government. They think and care more about Armenian sites, how they like to present it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So this double standards approach, I guess Mikhail knows it very well. We already spoke about that.
Yes, yes. We although they decline, we continue sending documents. We continue sending our statements. Maybe one day it will happen, and they will not keep silent about this. Even if they keep silent, this is our heritage. We will continue sending it to not only to UNESCO, to also international OSCE, European Union, European Council, all of them.
But you mentioned about these toponyms and also about the destroyed sites, religious and cultural, historic sites. What was the key reason for Armenia to destroy, to Armenize, to change it? Just to make sure that Azerbaijanis will not come back to these lands or any specific other land?
Just dissolve Azerbaijani heritage. Just to show that yes, to change the history, as they did in Karabakh. We all know that they wrote something in Armenian language to the mosques, to the church, Albanian church, and say that this is Armenian. And they do the same in their own territory also. They try to dissolve our Azerbaijani heritage, Azerbaijani path there, but it is impossible because we have plenty of documents.
Do you also work with other international organizations together, or with any other community who maybe also experience this similar situation and ready to act together to make the voice to be heard widely?
We have many programs regarding to this. As we started new, we are still new. As we started, and we have programs working with other communities that suffered such kind of problems, deportations, massacres, and we are ready to have together conferences, international conferences regarding to this, and we are preparing also international conferences to invite the representative of international community, international organizations. Yes, we have too much programs about this.
Well, we wish you good luck. Dear expert, thank you so much for joining the program today. It was a pleasure to talk with you about these important issues. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just to remind you, watch CBC Weekly Talk. I'm Anastasia Lavrina. Stay with us and see you in the next edition.